Now to present our next award, please welcome the Chancellor of the City University of New York, James B. Milliken.
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on.
Thank you so much for letting me join you this evening and take part in this tribute to two great men, Mayor David Dinkins and Congressman Charles Rangel. Yes, I'm going to say their names several times, so those are the applause lines. These outstanding leaders, together with their great friends, Percy Sutton and Basil Patterson, were known as the Gang of Four that did so much to make our city and state and country a better place to live, with more opportunity for all New Yorkers. And they are so deserving of your recognition this evening. But I want to begin by recalling briefly the remarkable person for whom this honor is named, and what her life tells us about the leadership we're recognizing this evening. Shirley Chisholm was a child of immigrants, and like so many outstanding City University of New York students, and she was a graduate of Brooklyn College. CUNY's classrooms have been remarkable engines of mobility for generations of New Yorkers, producing thousands of successful people in every field. But as some of you probably know firsthand, they produced only one Shirley Chisholm. In 1968, she became the first black woman elected to Congress. In 1972, she became the first African-American candidate for President of the United States of America. It is hard to imagine a more singular personality, and it's captured in the title of her autobiography, Unbought and Unbossed. And I think the other that we should add is that she was unstoppable. And that brings us to our honorees this evening. Charlie Rangel and David Dinkins are unstoppable. They're great New Yorkers, they're great civic leaders, they've long been great achievers. They are great models for our young people, but they would not have achieved so much, and we would not be honoring them this evening if they were not so unstoppable in so many ways. Think of what they had to overcome to rise in their impressive careers. They battled for their constituents tirelessly, and one vital quality they have in common with CUNY and our mission is the unshakable belief in the need to create opportunity for all New Yorkers, especially those from low-income, underrepresented, and immigrant groups. Still, the mission of the City University of New York and the institutions that the UNCF helps every year. They fought for higher education as a critical tool in unlocking potential and opening the doors of opportunity. Mayor Dinkins oversaw a remarkable and dramatic decline in crime during his time in office and also initiated major improvements in housing in Harlem, the South Bronx, and Brooklyn. Congressman Rangel was a leader in Congress for over 40 years, where, among many other accomplishments, he fought the problem of drugs and was a champion of economic development, particularly in his home neighborhood of Harlem, where he created an extremely important and still vital economic empowerment zone. We're proud to be the home at CUNY of the Charles B. Rangel Center for Public Service. It supports students in our public administration master's program, particularly those from underrepresented groups who have the ambition to become leaders in public sector and nonprofit institutions today. Mayor Dinkins has a number of important affiliations with one of our sister institutions, and we don't begrudge him that, Columbia University. It's an important place, and these are prestigious affiliations, the Dinkins Leadership and Public Policy Forum, as well as a professorship named for him at the School of International and Public Affairs. Mayor Dinkins and Congressman Rangel have been unstoppable in their commitment to our city and our country. And they have also been farsighted in many ways. When you look at New York City today, you see a global mega city that has never been so prosperous, so safe, so filled with creativity and vitality and inspiration. It wasn't always like this. If you examine the careers of these two honorees and think about the enormously important work that they did that planted the seeds for for the success that all of us are able to enjoy today. So I want to join with all of you in thanking them and honoring them for their vision, because it has created more opportunity and stood the test of time. These gentlemen are not only deeply worthy of the Shirley Chisholm Award, they are examples that motivate the leaders of tomorrow, many of whom, I have no doubt, are working hard today in the classrooms of CUNY and the many outstanding institutions that benefit so much from the work of the UNCF. Those students are learning from your achievements in preparation for their own. Congratulations to my good friends, Congressman Rangel and Mayor Dinkins.
They say it takes a village to raise a child. In Harlem, it took a gang, too. A gang of four legendary public servants who worked with Shirley Chisholm to make a better Harlem, a Harlem where kids could thrive and learn. Two of the four have passed. Basil Patterson, lawyer, mediator, state senator, deputy mayor, secretary of state, working to help young African Americans into leadership positions. And Percy Sutton, Tuskegee Airman Intelligence Officer, civil rights activist, lawyer, an investor in cultural landmarks like the Apollo Theater and the New York Amsterdam News, and for a decade, Manhattan Borough President. And our honorees tonight, after graduating from Howard University, David Dinkins served in the New York State Assembly, President of the Board of Elections, City Clerk, Manhattan Borough President, and the first African-American mayor of the city of New York, what he called the Gorgeous Mosaic, a term during which crime in the city decreased more dramatically than at any time in its history. Times Square was cleaned up and revitalized, and the city's beacon centers were established, schools and community centers where kids and parents could gather, learn, and play in safety, a safer, more livable New York. And we honor Charles Rangel for 4 years in the State Assembly and 46 years in Congress. 50 years of public service, fighting for the people of Harlem, for the Student Loan Fairness Act and against burdensome student debt, for the Empowerment Zone Act that helped to bring economic revitalization to Harlem, and for giving Shirley Chisholm a posthumous Presidential Medal of Freedom, fighting to make a kid-friendly and family-friendly New York, fighting alongside Shirley Chisholm to open doors and keep them open for generations of young African-American leaders in New York and across the country. Charles Rangel and David Dinkins. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage to accept the Shirley Chisholm Award, Charles Rangel and David Dinkins. Joining us on the stage for the presentation of the Shirley Chisholm Award is Vice President of Development for UNCF, Mr. Fred Mitchell.
These are two living legends. We are so blessed to be here this evening in their presence. Mayor Dinkins, Congressman Rangel, on behalf of UNCF, we are proud to present you with the Shirley Chisholm Award for Community Service. And it's symbolic that we're presenting a signed limited edition print by one of the great artists of the Harlem Renaissance, Hale Woodruff. You don't have to cut it in half. There's one for each of you. Ladies and gentlemen, our honorees. Who's first?
I am, Charlie's telling me. Oh, you telling me to take my time. Well, you see, we were described as legends. That means we're old. I understand that. I am very privileged to be here with my brother, Charlie Rangel, who's a true hero. He, as most of you in this audience know, he was a dropout from high school, went to Korea, won a Bronze Star and a Purple Heart, came home, finished high school, college, law school, and went on to a distinguished career in the state legislature and the Congress. In fact, there's only one person in the Congress that's been there longer than Charlie, and he's my brother and I love him. I am delighted to be here to receive an award for really just doing what I'm supposed to do in the first place. But Shirley Chisholm, to get an award in her name, you know Shirley, unbossed and unbought. And Shirley and Charlie and Percy Sutton and I and Basil Patterson, we were there one night in 1966. We walked into the office, the bedroom really, of the Speaker of the Assembly and reminded him that the year before they were able to achieve the election of a Speaker after a wait of 30 days, only when Governor Rockefeller, a Republican, gave them the votes. So Percy, as only Percy Sutton could do, said, "Mr. Speaker, we've got to go home with something too." And the Sikh program was born that night. So we're very, very proud of that. But I have, because this is the UNCF, I am a proud graduate of 1950 of Howard University. And when I got out of the Marine Corps in 1946 in August, and you could go to school free. You had the GI Bill. And I didn't want to go to school. I wanted to go to New York and party. But my stepmother was a graduate of Howard University, class of 29, had a classmate, Dr. Carroll Miller, and he was in charge of Veterans Affairs. This is August, late August. I said, it's too late, can't get in. But we got in. And because of a wonderful man who taught mathematics, and after a year and a half, I discovered you're supposed to have a major. I didn't know that because I didn't want to be there in the first place. So I became a mathematics major. And he was so good, Dr. David Blackwell. He would, if you didn't have the appropriate response, when he got through, he made you feel like you let him down. And that made me study. And I eventually graduated with honors in math, got a fellowship to Rutgers University. It's kind of a long story, but Charlie told me he was yielding me some of his time. So I found out one night after studying late at night, went to school and went to the smartest person in the class, a of course, was a woman. And I had the same answer she did, but I'd worked all night. And then I said, how long did it take you? She said, about 20 minutes. Then I knew. I came home and told my father, I said, Pop, I'm gonna drop out. He said, what are you gonna do? I said, I don't know, but I know what I'm not gonna do. So I decided to go to law school, and meaning no disrespect to my brother, Charlie Rangel, who's a distinguished legal scholar, and all you others out there, you don't need to be too smart to go to law school. Now, there are brilliant lawyers like Thurgood Marshall and Constance Baker Motley, but anyway, as they say, the rest is history. So I'm delighted when I go home and I tell my bride that I've been given an award, she'll say, why? But God bless you all. Thank you very much. You're on. You can have my time.
I don't believe this. Normally, when Dave starts talking, I can go out and get a haircut and a shave and come back. And I think he's trying to give me a lesson tonight, and I'm going to try my darndest to tell you how really proud I am to receive this award from this organization. My wife, we have a lot of plaques, a lot of plastic, a lot of crystal, a lot of glass. But the thought of being honored by this unique organization that has made it possible for so many people of color to find a key to try to find some equity and justice in this country, for me to be in the United States Congress and the founder of the Congressional Black Caucus, where all of our members are the beneficiaries of education in historical black colleges. To know that my son from Morehouse will be proud of me for something later on this evening, and my beautiful wife having graduated from a historical black college, all of these things. Sometimes you wonder, how can you say thank you to all of the wonderful people that allowed you to have an opportunity to help somebody else. Being born and raised on Lenox Avenue, the greatest contribution that I've made to this country is being able to have anybody to say, that is that if that guy Charlie Rangel from Lenox Avenue could make it, anybody can make it. I am clearly a product of the GI Bill and the wife of 50 years that was able to kind of smooth down the rough places, my wife Alma. Al? And God has blessed us with enough time to try to pay back. Chancellor Milliken was here earlier, and I can admit now that I'm old and nobody can hurt me, that I thought for so long that CCNY, that was on that hill, college education was so far from me, I thought that was Riverside Church, and I'm ashamed to admit that in front of the Pastor Baker, who's here, pastor of that church. But I had no idea of how to get to where I wanted to go. And somehow I'm going to make certain that the same group that you are anxious to help to have this key, that I'll be doing something at CCNY, and no matter where I can, to make certain that we can change this racist country and give people an opportunity to fully participate. And I just want to say in conclusion, there have been so many people that says, what are we going to do now? How are we going to handle that man in the White House? What does it mean for me and my children? And I don't know whether it's being in combat or just being raised on Lenox Avenue or being involved in the civil rights movement. But my brothers and sisters, we've been through more than just this president. We have taken this Constitution that we were never intended to be beneficiaries of, and to fight hard to make it elastic enough so that we've had a president that looks like us, a member of the United States Supreme Court. We've beaten out slavery. We fought Jim Crow. We're able to push back, stop, and frisk, and we got so far to go. Are you telling me that we are afraid of this man that managed to get through here? No, I don't think so. And so, God has made it possible for us to fight and to win. And certainly United Negro College Fund have given people the opportunity to get the self-esteem that's necessary in order for us to win. So whatever you do, don't give up, don't give out, and don't give in. It's just another struggle. God bless and thank you so much.